Hey guys, this is Darshil and Deep, Arsenal fan versus a United fan, and today we're going to discuss which project has been most successful. So stay tuned and hopefully you get some good arguments.
Hopefully, you get to see a new definition of successful as per our Arsenal fan here. So stay
Yeah, yeah,
tuned for that.
we'll see, we'll see. All right, so we'll start with 2 seasons ago, the season where Saliba got injured. You guys won the Carabao Cup, and I remember you famously saying that you had a better season, apparently. So, what do you have to say? Do you still think so? Do you look back
Yeah,
and think I was wrong, or do you never say that?
there was no question even like for me to even say it at the time itself was like a huge thing. It's like everyone you saw unanimously, obviously except Arsenal fans, because you guys are just like you can never go against your club, you can never go against your manager, like anything they can't do wrong. So you have to defend yourself. It was never a question, and the reason is we both got the same thing, except we won something. We actually won something. Like, is
Yeah,
that nothing to you?
yeah. So it's interesting how you say we both got the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got second, you got third, same thing according to you. And
Mhm.
then you got eighth next, and we got second again, and we were much closer last season. So I don't think just table numbers define a project, right? Like, yeah, that Carabao you won. Did that Carabao push you into anything better? Like, you know how you'd say, oh, we win trophies along the way. It prepares us for what's coming and to try and make us win the big trophies. Instead of that, you went to eighth and the Carabao didn't get you anything. Beating Newcastle one game didn't really prove anything. So I don't know. I don't know what you talk about, mate.
Yeah, bro. Like, so here's the thing, right? You're saying it didn't prove anything, and
Yeah,
yeah, like sure, we finished eighth and stuff next.
yeah,
That's not related. Those are independent things. Yeah, there are different reasons for why we finished eighth. You literally the first thing you mentioned, we had a Saliba injury on that in that
yeah,
first season.
yeah,
So we finished eighth with like 10 injuries. Like all our whole backline was out. Everything was out. So there are all those mitigating factors. My point is when when you guys get mad at like Haaland saying stay humble, this is why.
yeah.
You have no respect for winning. It's just one game against Newcastle. What did you guys do against Newcastle? You guys got slapped up 4-0. 4-0.
It
And
was
you
crazy.
have the audacity to say one game against Newcastle is nothing. Wait, what's all that about?
You know what's crazy? We lost to Newcastle 2-0, 2-0 this time, yeah? That's why you're saying 4-0. You lost 4-0 in one game this season only.
Bro, this
You got
season
slapped so hard.
we're talking about when it matters.
Yeah, yeah.
When it
The
matters.
league,
One
it doesn't
game in the
matter, right?
Premier League, it doesn't matter. That was the final. You guys in the semi-final, you bottled it. Again
It's
and again after literally raving about how shit Newcastle is and winning them is like it's like an easy thing. What happened to all that? What?
it's crazy how you say where it matters you perform. The Premier League, the most prestigious league in the world, 2 seasons, nothing mattered. It's like, yeah, it's fine, 8th, 14th, it's okay. But where it matters, Carabao Cup, bro, that's what. Imagine Sir Alex Ferguson watching from the stands. Oh, Carabao Cup, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It matters.
Carabao Cup plus FA Cup the next season. What
Yeah,
about that?
yeah,
Plus finishing in top four. The point is not only winning the Carabao Cup.
yeah.
The point is winning it
And
while finishing the top four. You
yeah,
guys just finish in the top four like some small club, genuinely playing the same team every week. You literally like Leicester, like that. You're literally trying to pull off a Leicester season because you have so many requirements for even winning the Premier League, which what you say matters, right? You have to play the same team every day, every week. You have to sacrifice all your other competitions. My point is, you have to be able to play like a big club, win, but also do well in the league.
yeah.
So
I
what's
agree.
your opinion on that? Why can't you guys do that ever for 5 years now, 700 million down the line,
You're
and
saying,
you still can't perform in all competitions?
okay, okay. So there's two things, yeah, to address. One, you keep comparing us to Leicester, and I find it very shocking because I don't know if you're doing it by mistake or you don't realize Leicester were someone who what got promoted, maybe came like bottom 10, and then directly came first, something like that. We've come second, and we're trying to get there. We've not yet got there. So the idea is you say we're a one season wonder, or I don't know what you're trying to say, or we hoping to get lucky. We're literally doing it the hardest way, like how Liverpool, they challenge, and then they won it. That's our project. I don't understand the Leicester comparison. Second thing, was about all, yeah, according to you, a big club needs to be able to perform in all competitions. You must be able to perform in all competitions, and that's what it is to be a big club. You don't want to just be like, oh, I sacrifice FA Cup, I sacrifice this, and then just concentrate on the league. But that is your misconception, bro. Arteta is not. He didn't ever try to lose. Maybe actually, maybe you're right. Maybe in the first few, maybe like 3 years ago or something, he tried to just not put a good team. Even Klopp did that. Klopp played his kids against you, and that's how you guys won the FA Cup last year. But
Of course.
but like this year or last year when we got out to Liverpool, we played our best team and we lost. What can we do? Yeah, like they were pretty good. We lost 2-0. And this year we tried against you guys. I don't know, we just could not finish. And we know our bigger problems is striker and all. We had like so much XG, but XG doesn't matter. But the point is, we have not tried to get out intentionally, if you think so, over the last 2 years. It's just we've not been able to win cups, and that is his fault. But yeah, it's not that we've done that intentionally.
Okay, listen, the first thing about Leicester, I'm not comparing you guys in the sense that you don't have a project or you are trying to mimic their project. Their project was never that. But the way they won it is how you guys want to win it. You guys want to win it
Yeah.
when no other team performs. So you want City to have a bad season. You want Liverpool, basically, you want your standard that you reach in that season to be the best. You don't want to win it because you want to be better than the others. You just want a season where your performance is the best in the league. That's what Leicester did that season. That season they had was a season where every other club was going through like a shit spell, and that they did the best, and that's how you want to win the league. Like, bro, what kind of mentality is that, man? Like, you're just so many requirements. Like the stars have to align. You guys have to be the best club, no injuries. You have to have a perfect squad. Everything has to go to your plan. Like it doesn't work that way. Like and I genuinely hope that this season you've seen how that works. When you actually try to put it into perspective, all these 2 years you guys have been ragging Saka down and just like destroying him. I hope you see what it means now when you don't have like your full squad and why it's hard to do well in all competitions. Second point, right, about the winning, the Carabao Cup or whatever, right? What that shows, you're arguing that sure it didn't spur us on to winning the Premier League. Sure, it didn't. Like it didn't spur you on to win the Premier League either. So like that's not really a valid argument. Like we both are not winning it. But what it helped us, what it showed is United have the minerals to perform on the big occasions. So when we do get there, and we will get there, I genuinely think we might even get there before you guys get there at this rate. But when we get there, United have the minerals to actually perform on the biggest stage, whereas you guys just bottle it. Because any high pressure situation, forget the cops. You guys lose your leagues because you lose against West Ham. So forget about performing against Liverpool, City, Newcastle, all these things. You've just been slacking off in these games against the likes of West Ham. Because when it's high pressure, you have no idea how to perform. Your club can't perform.
Okay, let's. I'll get back to these. We'll talk about the last season and this season. I'll get back to everything that you say that is incorrect. But just to talk about, I was just want to mention, if Arteta was to listen to this, he'd be like, "Oh my God, this guy is so far from knowing who I truly am." Like you believe so much about Arteta, which is so incorrect to what his beliefs are. But it's fine. One day you'll get there. I guess you're still inexperienced.
What's his
Yeah,
beliefs? What's his beliefs? Okay, tell me. You tell me what's his beliefs.
you were talking about something. About so I can't remember. My bad. You were saying something
Yeah.
about something related to the fact that he doesn't do this. He doesn't just put his he's not able to perform in all competitions, something like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so incorrect. But Arteta, he believes.
Bro, you literally got out of the FA Cup in like the first 3 rounds in the last 3 seasons. What are you on about? Like
Yeah,
it's
every time
literally a
we
fact.
face it's not doesn't matter if it's the first team. Like say you get out to like City, whoever got out, say you get out in the semis like City or Spurs or something. It's the same thing as getting out to Liverpool in the third round. If we got out to Liverpool in the fifth round, is that more successful than getting out to Liverpool in the third round?
No, but it's what's most successful is getting out of Liverpool, getting through Liverpool in the third round, and
Yeah,
then winning stuff at the end. That's most successful, which we did. We
yeah,
literally got through every team. We beat Liverpool, we beat
yeah.
City, and then we won it. That's the whole point I'm trying to get to you. Like you're just isolating getting through a lower round, like a smaller round versus a
Yeah,
big team.
I
But
get
if you
your
beat
point.
that team, you get them out of the competition and you have a better chance of winning it. That's the way to look at it. But
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Arteta doesn't look at it that way. He doesn't care. He genuinely doesn't care about it.
mate, if he could beat them, he could. He played his strongest team. What more do you want? I was watching this game with Shidich in the bar, and he played his best.
Oh,
We all saw it, and he couldn't win. What can he do?
so basically, if a manager plays his best team, that's it. You can't question him then. So and Ten Hag played his best team every time he had. He played his best available team. So too
I'm
bad,
not
it's not
saying
his fault.
you don't blame him, but that was his tactic. Are you saying no one should lose? Like you can lose games.
You can lose games, but you can't lose three times in a row,
You
like three
can.
years in a row. You that okay?
Don't
That's the whole point. You don't hold. You see, you don't want your team to improve. Like you don't learn from your mistakes. You don't try to improve on what you've done in the past year. And this year, first of all, I agree. Okay, first of all, you guys did improve in your points tally. I think from the first season
yeah,
versus the second
yeah,
season, points tally wise, you improve.
yeah.
This year, you can see how you're going
Okay,
down, and
I have
I'm
something
pretty
to
sure.
say for that. Basically, yeah, we went from like 56 to 61 to 66 to like 80 something, 81, and then 90, no, 89, I think. Yeah, so
89.
we improved a lot. And this season's a write-off. You don't consider this season. You know how much went against. Listen to me. Basically, this season just a write-off. The point is, we believe in this project. We are trying to progress towards something. So now if you say that just because this season we had a few refereeing decisions against us, I don't think there's too many. It's not a big point. A lot of Arsenal fans are like, oh, we got three red cards. Oh, referees against us. Only like one, I think, like the Rice one, I think was incorrect. The Trossard one was correct. Saliba one was correct. So that's fine. There's refereeing decisions. A little bit of Michael Oliver and all this Lewis Kelly. We could have lost that Wolves game, but that's all fine. Like, how much are you going to complain about? You have to win eventually. There's the injuries. Injuries. If the fact that we lost what Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, Havertz, that is the equivalent of losing for Liverpool losing Salah, Gakpo, maybe put Nunes there because it's not that good, and Diaz. So if they lost those four, you think they win the league? And we didn't. I'm not saying find excuses. I'm saying this season doesn't mean a step backwards. It's because these things happen. Saka's not injured for 2 years. He's coming back. None of these guys are injured for like, oh, project's gone because they injured this season. Next season's not going to be the same. Hopefully, we're going to sign someone in summer. We're going to talk about whether we think Arteta is the right man for this. That's a different topic. But basically, this season, I believe, is a write-off. You don't have to, of course, learn from these things. Some things have gone down, like Odegaard's. He was very effective last season, and before that, he was even better. And this season, he's completely like much low in terms of goals, assists, and all. There've been a few downsides. You have to work on those. But the point is that we haven't taken a step backwards or anything. It's just kind of sideways. And hope next season we pick the project up right where we left it last year.
Bro, this is not some usual like school project you do that you just kind of left for a bit and then you want to come back.
Tell me, I'm
Here's why I think we're getting into the delusional territory now, right? You're talking about Liverpool losing those front four, and I totally agree that if you lose those front four, you're going to have a huge impact on your team. But all things considered, they would still find a way to perform, which Arsenal don't. They never, because when you had your best team, exactly. You came second. You didn't win it. You didn't win it. You think City has won the leagues with all their players available? They didn't have De Bruyne. They didn't have Haaland. They didn't have David Silva sometimes in the early years. They lost all these players and they
okay.
still managed to win. No, listen. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah.
So yes, they might not be 13 points ahead, which now is what Liverpool are, but they would like these teams. Ultimately, you have to find a way to win. That's first point. Second thing,
Yeah.
when you had your all your players available, you didn't win. So like you can't make that argument that oh, if we had our players, like just because we don't have our players, it's a write-off. When you can say that if you have your players and you win something, then you can say that this year we don't have our players, so it's a write-off. But even when you had your players, you basically were losing. Like you didn't win anything. It's like telling Spurs, like you know how Spurs try to like say that oh, we had all these injuries, that's why we're losing. Even when they had their players, they lose most of these games. It's not a valid excuse. So you need to change your mindset of like just using these injuries as an excuse because you have to recognize how lucky you guys were to not have any injuries in the last 2 years. That's all I've been trying to say to Arsenal fans, that it's you guys didn't have a single injury and you didn't make it count. Like that should be a huge thing that you didn't make it count at all. And here's why I'm saying you didn't make it count. Yes, you finished second, and that's not a bad, like that's not a thing to downplay because United finished second as well with Jose. So forget that. That's a different thing. But it's not a thing to play down. But I genuinely believe you guys are now going in the wrong direction this season. Here's why. You can't tell me after seeing your team play in the last season and seeing your team play this season
Yeah.
that you see your team progressing. Your team is genuinely playing like a championship team.
Yeah.
All they do is they literally, especially without Saka, like it's just like one-man army, and now they just take the ball to the side, cross the ball, and try to score goals. That's literally all they do. And you guys have a really good defense. I'll give it to that, but you've spent literally most of your money on defense. So it's not really, I don't know if it's smart spending. It's good. Like you have good players there, but it's overspent for sure on your defense. So based on everything that I'm saying, like, do you genuinely believe with the way you're playing right now? Because playing like Arsenal is meant to be a great club that, if they didn't have anything, if they were not winning, they're always known for excitement. It's like if you go to the stadium, like you're like seeing proper sleek football,
Yeah.
and you don't see that at all. Like I don't recognize the team at all. So what do you have to say about that and how the team is actually progressing in that sense?
Mate, it's pretty obvious. We don't have the personnel. How are we going to play the same as last season? Okay. To your other point, I told you we are this is a write-off because we don't have our front four. We don't have no attack. And that's why we don't win the league. Say if Liverpool didn't have their four, they wouldn't win. And say we had our normal squad because they've had a few injuries. They have like Alisson a little bit, Jota a little bit. But if you let me get this on camera because these things you don't get often, and then later I know you'll regret it. But if you're saying if Liverpool didn't have their top four, they would find a solution and still win the league over us if we had our top four, like our front four.
Yeah, because you haven't done that in the last 2 years. When you had your top four, you didn't win the league.
Mate,
So
if Liverpool didn't have those four, they weren't doing shit.
how can you say that? Like, how do you know that? Like, dude, Arne's like
Mate,
Slot has come in and created a system and improved so many players. He could have found a solution. Like, who knows? Like,
just forget even Slot. Without Salah, I saw a stat. Without Salah, they would be 13th in the league. Okay, I'm not saying Salah's not there, so no one's going to score his goals. Someone will score his penalties or whatever. But the fact is that they would not win the league if they didn't have all their top four. Salah's literally the
they
world's
would.
best player right now, and our best player is not there. Fuck world's best player.
What did he do when he was there? Did he
Oh,
win you guys the league? Did your best player win you anything when he
okay.
was there?
Let me tell you something. You do know that last season the winner was more of a roll of a dice. It wasn't that City was extravagantly better than us. You do realize, okay, would you have been surprised if we won the league last season?
Yeah, after seeing you guys play and bottle it against West Ham and against these teams,
We
I
did
would be
not.
surprised.
Last season, we won 14 in the last 16 games. We drew one and lost one. The only loss was
See,
Villa. It was against Villa, and Villa is good. You can't tell Villa's not good. They're in the Champions League, and you're not.
all these stats that you mentioned, only Arsenal fans know them, and you'll keep them to your mind for the next 5, 10 years, because that's all you'll be able to rave about to your kids. Because there's nothing else you can rave about. You'll just be like, oh, in that season, the last 14 games, we won 13 games. Bro, it doesn't matter. What does all that count for?
If you get over the line, that's what matters. And I know like the hardest step is the final step. I agree. We haven't got that right. Who I don't know if Arteta has it. I believe he does. Maybe people don't. But my question is, would you be surprised if we won the league? And there's no way you can say you'd be surprised. We literally, people were like,
I
you could, if you didn't see the color of the shirt, you wouldn't know if it's City playing or Arsenal. We were both literally going for it. We won the last 13 games in the league, each of us. Like anyone could have dropped anywhere, but we pushed, we fought. And sometimes when you get so close and you don't get there, your hamstrings are all gone, hopes are all gone. So it happens that, yeah, maybe next season you won't compete as much. This one has been much more horrific than I thought. And it's total write-off and things. In fact, I'm kind of glad that everything went wrong in one, and hopefully next season we win. But yeah, my point is, We did really well. I know other unbiased fans will say they wouldn't be surprised if we won. We literally in 2024, if you see, we had the most points out of everyone. But that doesn't count for anything. Oh, give them a trophy for that. I know you'll say that. But the fact is that we literally did so well and we still have the person. The good thing about Arteta's project is that he's brought all these young guys. You know how you think, oh, I think you guys will never get back to what you were last season. Well, he's built a young squad. Maybe Odegaard or someone doesn't get up there, his peak, but we'll probably get reinforcements. The point is, with a front line of Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka, we pushed one of the best teams in Premier League history, right? To the final day. With this manager who has so little experience. And this squad is still young. In my opinion, like there is so much potential. If we get a left winger and a striker, there's a few things discussed. That's not what this video is about. But if he gets backed, then I think there's just wonders happening.
How much
And
more?
don't bring that 700 million, mate. You spend 900 million and you're 14th in the league right now. So don't bring that.
Yeah, that's the reasons for that. You've had a project for 5 years. We've had a project that we've been changing every two, three
Whose
years,
fault
and
is that?
that's
Don't change
the
it.
club, the clubs. I mean, it's the club, but like you gotta understand the mismanagement that's happening at the club. There's nothing I can do to defend that because it's genuinely playing like a game. Like they're playing like football manager. But going back to your point about would I be surprised? Sure, like I don't know how you're trying to use that as an argument. Like that's not really a valid question as per se. Like sure, I wouldn't be surprised because you were up there with City as well. But like, does that really mean anything? Like that I wouldn't be surprised. If anything, I actually, you know what, you're right. I wouldn't be surprised because after doing that well, the season before and that season itself, after doing that well in the last few games you should have won it, but you
Yeah.
didn't. That's the whole point I'm trying to make is that the surprising part was that you still didn't win it. And that should be a huge thing that you should think about because Arteta has been steering this ship for 5 years now. And every time that everyone else looks to them and say that, okay, this is the year, including Arsenal fans, it just never comes. It never happens. So, and my question, you still haven't addressed like now the way you're playing right now. You're just saying you're going to pick it up next season. I have seen an actual intentional shift from the Arsenal team, from Arteta, and from actually they've changed their manager, by the way. I don't know if you heard. Arsenal changed their manager. It's Strober. You should see him on the line. He's pacing up and down, like he's managing the whole team. It's all on him. He's gonna get a new contract as well. I think you know what? I think Arteta will go to director of football because like that's vacant. This guy is new manager. Genuinely, that's all you guys need. Because, dude, like you can't be blind to the way you guys are playing. Like that's all you guys do. So how do you see? And one thing I'll say is, they in the modern game, there's a certain way that you gotta play to be champions. Like I'm not saying you have to be like City and tiki taka and all this stuff. Like even Liverpool right now, it's not like they're like blowing teams away in all games and like it's just they look like champions, and it pains me to say that. Like it genuinely pains me to say that. But when you just look at them playing against City, like that game against City, that's another thing. You guys were raving about getting draws at City, and like you getting like you see the difference in mentality. You see how Liverpool went there and did the business at Etihad Stadium. You guys would be so happy with a draw, but they went there and they won them. That's a psychological shift that you need to impart on the league to say we are champions. So how do you see that from your club and how do you see Arteta inspiring that with this shift in playing style? Like, are you happy with that? Like, do you actually see a future with the way that he's changing the way you guys play?
Mate, I told you we don't have the personnel. How do you expect us to play he wants to play a
Yes.
certain type of football, and that is not this Tony Pulis shit. It is the tiki taka that we were playing last season, but faster than City. We literally were better. We got better at their style than them, but we don't have the personnel. So I can't say anything else, man. He's just trying to make goals out of nothing, but we have no attack. I don't expect us to score any goals, but honestly, give us XG should be 0 probably because all we're gonna do is set pieces. We don't have any attack. Like mate, we are here second. All these injuries you raved about last season that you were what eighth with all these injuries. We've had all our main guys blown out at the top. How do you score goals? How do you win games without goals? And
So
still
imagine,
we are second. We ain't eighth, we ain't 14th, we're second. Yeah?
and let me tell you why. It's because of Jover. One thing, Jover. That's all. Not
Yeah,
Arteta, not Arteta. This is what I'm saying. Not Arteta actually building and finding solutions
yeah,
to make you guys second. It's all on Jover. And this ties back to the point. Do you see how it pains when you don't have your players and you still manage to do well? So imagine if you have all these injuries, imagine winning a trophy while competing in all different competitions and you have to like juggle all these things. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. And that's why I was talking about even that first season, is that all that you guys didn't have injuries. So for you guys, that was not even a valid concept because you guys are like, what is this guys talking about? He's
yeah,
just like complaining for no reason. Now I think you guys can at least appreciate or acknowledge how difficult it is when
yeah,
you don't have your best players to
yeah,
still perform.
yeah,
And sure, we didn't perform in the league, and that's the bread and butter. And that's a whole different thing, which United is genuinely in a shambles right now. It's in a cleansing process,
yeah,
and we haven't been good enough. But let me tell you this: in our worst times, this is probably our worst few years in in like since 1970s, probably. Like you've seen all the stats that come out.
yeah,
Imagine that in that worst times, if we still win trophies, like we still at the end win stuff. When you guys,
yeah,
this is your best 5 years probably in the last 20 years. Would you agree?
yeah, yeah,
And you still haven't won anything. So
yeah.
imagine passing through your best period and not winning anything. Because you'll go in cycles. Like Arteta can't just stay there for 10 years and not win anything. Like that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, well, he did win an FA Cup, but yeah. So basically, the point is, what was I going to
5 years ago, literally, bro.
you were saying no, it is commendable. It is commendable that with injuries you won FA Cup, and for a club that only tries for these side cups, it is pretty commendable for sure. But yeah, I guess for us the success was going to be with these injuries of maybe if Havertz didn't get injured, just Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. Like we with injuries, we were still like kind of what 5 points away from Liverpool. But now it's just going to be horrible. So it's just turning out to be so painful to watch. I literally do not want to watch Arsenal because I know Champions League won't get destroyed. Like it's this season, I'm so yeah out of it. But I guess Saka's
And you guys had a chance to address it in January. That's the worst part. Like you guys, I get that you got Saka injury earlier and like the others during January, but you had enough time to address it. So I still don't get if you were really going for the top pins, which I think that's a genuine mentality shift you guys need to have. Like you act like these entitled people just because you finished second twice that we're only going to go for the big trophies. Your club literally doesn't have the belief in it because they literally did not back the manager in January when he needed it the most. So you need to
but
sometimes understand.
are we gonna you're gonna blame Arteta for that? Do you know whose fault it is?
Yeah, yeah, it's Arteta's fault because he didn't. Why didn't he choose? Why didn't he built the squad? It's 5 years into the squad building process. If he doesn't have a contingency for Saka, one player, if he doesn't have a contingency for not having another striker on the bench, he's to blame just as much as anyone else.
He's been asking for 3 years for a striker. He's not got one. Oh no, no, he's had a little bit of fault for some of the things he's done. Yeah, like the Havertz one and all. Yeah, that is his fault. But yeah, if we didn't have a sporting director, and if the club like this is not his job at all. When the transfer window is going on in January, he's looking at our club games, right? It's not his duty. It's that the guy who's the deputy right now, whose job is, and they were like so complacent. They're like, yeah, no, we'll only look for the right place. So they don't know how to break the bank and go for it when you have to go for it, and let that's going to really eat into our whole season and maybe eat into our next one. But okay, I think we talked a lot about this. Let's try and talk a little about going ahead. What do you think going ahead?
Yeah, so like with all that being said, like genuinely, you gotta start talking about your manager, and you gotta lay down some ideas or some conditions looking forward that he needs to meet to still convince everyone that he's the right man to go forward. So how much time possibly can you give him? How much more money can you possibly give him before he has to actually win something? Forget the Premier League, something.
Hey, it's interesting you bring up money because a lot of managers they get backed when they're not earning much. I don't know if you've looked at the monetary aspect of say Arsenal versus United, but we're doing really well financially. Not just well, like really well because of Champions League revenue. Like I don't know what you do on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights, but we are actually earning a lot of money while playing in Champions League. So I think they should go all out on him. He's first of all, you gotta commend him for what he's done. I don't know if you commend him, but a lot of people who are unbiased do commend him for where he's brought us. It's not easy. A lot of people think, oh, from eighth to second, of course, you have 5 years, you should come in. It isn't easy. A lot of teams are eighth and then they don't make it to second. They don't come 2 points close to the best Premier League team in history. But he's done so well. I'd say go all out on him in summer. Give him a striker of like a striker who's ready, not developing. A striker who's ready. He needs a left winger, and the rest you figure it out. It's not a must, but give him these two. Splurge maybe 150 to 200 million because they've been putting bids for so long, and that money is not gone because they've not had any successful transfers like big ones recently. Like Declan Rice was what 2 seasons ago. Yeah, but they haven't had any big ones. So we have a lot of money and go and spend it. I don't know what this board is saving for. Like, if you gotta commit, like City, they were doing a little bad. They're like, right, January, we go break everything. I don't know how 120, 130 million. But if we get January that and then summer this and 3 windows, we haven't done anything. So, yeah, I'd say to conclude, give him everything he needs in summer. Be like, here, you have everything you need now you go this season and win us something good. And that good has to ideally be Premier League or Champions League. If he wins FA Cup and has a really good season or has some, we can evaluate. But if he wins nothing, remove him. People get too attached to managers sometimes. He is at the end of the day disposable, right? Like it doesn't have to be with him. Yeah, we love him. We all love him, but it doesn't have to be him that wins it for us. Maybe this is as far as he goes. But yeah, in my opinion, back him hard. Let's remove him next summer. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for at least being objective because people usually don't be that objective. And about giving him credit, I have no issues giving him credit for what he's done in the last 2 years because it like you said, it's like knowing where United is right now. Like I can see how big of a task it would be to overhaul everything and bring them back. And I know Arsenal were in a similar position
Yeah.
before he took over and stuff. So the point was never about discrediting all his achievements so far. It's about going forward. Is he going to make that step, right? Because you can always have a manager that takes you right there, like you're just there, and then you get the perfect manager, and he's the one that elevates you. So that's the question. But as far as giving him these things, okay, sure. First of all, I don't agree that it's not Arteta's fault. I genuinely think not having a striker has been a little to do with Arteta as well. Like he's built a system that doesn't. I don't think his system that he envisions requires a striker as per se. So he's built this intentionally because you know how Havertz plays, right? He doesn't play as a striker. He always goes wide and then he takes the ball up and then you guys keep possession in the other half and then you
Like
start building.
just a camper.
Yeah. So I think he was going for more of like I agree that you need a left winger for sure because if you are having that system where you have like kind of a false nine, then you need like the wingers to chip in with goals.
Salah
And
Mane.
Saka, you have
Yeah.
yeah. So you need a left winger for sure. I guess maybe not because some Arsenal fans think Martinelli is better than Mbappe. So I
Yeah.
guess maybe not. So I don't know what you're talking about left winger because I mean you have a player better than Mbappe. So
Yeah.
but yeah, anyways, that's a whole different delusion state.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah.
my point is, so if he gets these two things, so let's just say hypothetically that Arsenal do back him because you're right, they haven't spent a lot in the past and they have the money. Say they get top class striker. I don't know if they'll get Isaac, especially if Newcastle get
Yeah.
Champions League. But if they get like a top class striker who's ready, even like Ollie Watkins again for next summer, and they get a left wing. Like I know there was a lot of talk about Nico Williams, someone top class there. Say that you get that, but next season you start having a few injuries here and there, one or two, like not wiping out your entire front line, but let's say you have one or two injuries and you kind of have a few red cards, which I don't know, it's on you. Like you can't like you can blame one, like you said, on the referee. But let's say my point is if you get adversity, are you still gonna just be like, oh yeah, nah, because of all these things, he can't get through. Because even this season, in the start, I know you specifically told me if Arsenal don't win something, it'll be a disappointment.
Yeah.
You said it on record. And it's not looking like they're going to win anything. So it is going to be a disappointment. And now you're going to say, well, we have injuries and stuff, which is fair to a certain extent because you have a lot of injuries. But what if that adversity happens again next season Are you still going to give him the benefit of the doubt again?
Yeah, no, it's great that you answered your own questions. That it's disappointment, but he has reasons for it. But yeah, next season, no. If like say we got one guy injured, say Odegaard's injured for 3 months, and that shouldn't be an excuse. He should have a backup. He should have one area, or he should have someone who can play there. One person becoming unfit shouldn't stop you from winning the league. I don't think like, I mean, it probably would for Salah, but maybe you don't believe it. But the point is, right now, say you are like, we had a bad season, sack the manager. I don't know if you believe that. There is no one who would come and do a better job with it. I mean, better maybe, but no one's going to win the league with this squad. Okay, no one's going to win the league with this squad. So that's why there's no point of sacking him, right? But and like, who's even available? Even if there was available, we could think about it. There's not that many available good managers that could come and win with this squad. But yeah, if next season he doesn't do it, just don't get too affiliated with him. It was a story that wasn't meant to be. Go and get someone else. So I think we kind of agree on that. And now we should talk about United. What do you think going ahead? What is it looking like? Because for me, it looking like this club is washed, and you just burn that T-shirt right away.
See, here's the thing, right? United is so big that it's never gonna go down. As much as other opposition fans wish and hope, because it's a big giant and they would love for the club to just, become another big club that is now nosedived and gone down. It's never gonna happen. Let me just get that right. The revenues are too big. As much as people say like we're in shit with FFP and stuff, it's true. We're not able to spend a lot in the transfer market. But you gotta understand that's the whole reason for this club where this club is right now. Like it's as simple as that. When the owners have been taking money out of the club, when the money that they're paying, like they take more money out than the amount of money they pay for interest on the debt that they have. So imagine that. So let's say you're paying 10 million for the debt that you have on the loans you've taken. You're taking out 15 million for yourself on top of that. So like you can't run a business that way, and let alone like a club that wants to do well on the pitch. So until that's that's kind of cleansed that whole process, and the decisions that have been made over the past 5 to 10 years have repercussions that last years and years. And the point is, how long is that going to last? See, this season it's the worst that it's been. We've come 15th. I still believe that we shouldn't have sacked Ten Hag. Like I'm one of the very few fans maybe that believes that if we were going to sack him and he was not the right man, there was no point of sacking him mid-season, spending all that money. Like you can't be firing sandwich ladies and like chefs and stuff, and then you spend like all this money
Yeah,
on
yeah,
sacking a manager and like bringing a manager in, and it doesn't make sense. So right now, the club is too big to handle for anyone right now, except if we got Qatar or something. But right now, it's looking bleak. But we need to go through a thorough cleansing process, which I know Arsenal went through themselves.
yeah.
So it's looking like that's gonna have to happen, and we're gonna have to see if we can be smart with who we're buying, because it's enough about all these big names and stuff. We've got rid of Rashford, we've got rid of Anthony, we're going to get rid of Casemiro. All these players are just going to go, and I think we need to build with a young, strong team. And I think that we're going in the right direction as far as like the intent. At least the intent we can see like is to be smart, but intent and doing it is a different thing. So we'll have to see how it goes. I'm not fully convinced with Ruben Amorim. I gotta say that as well, which
Yeah,
is concerning,
yeah.
and that's where all goes back to the ownership. Like Ineos has not filled themselves with glory with all the decisions they've made so far. So it's yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think what's happened is when Ten Hag didn't get enough credit maybe at some point, because when you look at now where this same kind of squad that Amorim picked up, it's not really changed that much. Um, with this same squad, how horrible they are to have won a Carabao and FA Cup. I was like, yeah, I think I should have given more credit to Ten Hag, because I was like, oh, he's so bad, but it's just the resources, you can only deal with the resources that you have, and the resources he had was pretty average. But that's my point. Like sometimes you win these side quests, these cups, and you start thinking, oh, we might be the real shit, or we might like start challenging for bigger stuff, but that is actually like a delusion or an illusion that you get that we're so good, and then you give some guy a 1 year extension, and then in 3 months you realize, oh wait, we're not actually that great, so let's just fire this guy. So my point is that you guys at some point were really getting a little cocky that, oh yeah, look, we won a FA Cup, we won this, but you'd rather be an Arsenal fan. You'd rather be an Arsenal fan
you're
because of what's
you're out of
coming
your
up.
mind.
Like say next year when we win one Premier League and then all the other trophies just start flowing, you'd be like, oh okay, what Arteta did make sense. What Ten Hag did was just putting a bandage on a hole. Yeah,
If you win, because let's be like, this is the thing, don't act entitled like when there's literally no guarantees that you're going to do anything.
yeah, yeah,
For all we know, Chelsea can come back, City will come back next season,
yeah.
Chelsea might rise suddenly, and Liverpool, like, sure, they have a few players here and there, like you there's no guarantee you're going to win. So at the end, it might just end up being like we went through all our like this whole cleansing process, which we needed to, because the club was genuinely run like it was, even like I could run like a small business better. It was so bad. So imagine we go through the whole process and we become level with you and overtake you. That's a real
That's
possibility.
a lot of
So
imagine, yeah. But like in reality, we are like 2 players away, maybe 2 players, 2 quality players away from having like that really good squad to win Champions League or Premier League. I don't know if we will, but we are two. That's how the state we are at. Okay, I think we can agree. That's the state we are at. I don't know if we're a manager away. Maybe you believe so, but I don't. But you guys are 7, 8, maybe 10 quality players away. If you think about like first team plus a bit of a bench.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you are in a really bad, and Amarim, I don't know, he's giving me like Trump vibes, very on his system. He doesn't want to move. I don't know, Trump's not a good example, but like he's so fixated on his system, and I don't think there is like
It's
even
like Ange.
Tekoglu has that a bit of a problem. Like some games he does really well, his system works, but some games like you're not supposed to have a high line. Why are you having a high line, right? Like some things. I don't know about system. I heard really good stuff. It's very promising. But like every player that comes to United becomes shit. Every manager comes to United becomes shit. The club shit. That is just the vibe spread. Uh, but yeah, I don't know if he's the right man ahead. But also the other thing is what you keep doing wrong is you keep sacking managers and bringing others. But like the main fundamentals need to change, and that's where I think United are like so far behind. Like
Yeah,
such a poorly ran
yeah.
club.
Yeah, and I mean, I obviously, like, it's there for everyone to see that the fundamentals, like the actual fundamentals, need to change, and that's what's wrong. And you're talking about we are far away. Yeah, we're very far away, sure. But what I'm trying to say is you guys are hovering around that state, and there's nothing to say that we'll find our way and claw our way back. That's all I'm saying. Because you guys, you have no conviction to win it. Like, it genuinely, there's no conviction. You saw that in the Jan window. You saw that. We'll see now what they do in the summer, and if they actually back him. And even if they do back him, I'm not saying he can't win it, right? Or he might, but I think a lot has to go right for him to win it. Like, you guys, other clubs have to also kind of do a bit bad and stuff. And if he does, sure, well and good, good for you guys. You guys finally won it after 6 long years of this whole process. But even still, like, I don't fear Arsenal overtaking us, like, in that sense. So I still think in the long run, United is just a much bigger club. It just has so much more to look forward to. Like, winning, you guys haven't even won a Champions League. Like, dude, that's huge. That's a huge thing. And you're talking about, like, you're going to be close to winning a Champions League. You'll win the Premier League, maybe, sure, and that's a big maybe. But the Champions League, even if you think you're 2 players away, it takes a club, like a club stature, to win the Champions League. So, which I genuinely don't think Arsenal have right now. You guys have to dominate football, like English football, and then win the Champions League. So there's a lot to look there. But like, as far as United are concerned, currently, yeah, crap situation. I totally blame the Glazers from before. We shouldn't have sacked all these managers, and I still believe if we just kept Ten Hag, like, he wouldn't do worse than what Amorim is doing, right? We would just save money, we would save all this time, and like, we would just reset from the summer. And like, right now, rather than right now having to literally not want to watch the United. When I watch United, I feel like there's no, like, they're not even a team. Like, I'm surprised they're a professional team. It's that bad. Like, there's no level of professionalism. There's no level of anything about them. It's just dead. Like, it's just dead. So
No, I'm glad you're able to live in like the glory days of like when Fergie used to bribe everyone before VR days and all. No, that is pretty fun and yeah, no, it takes time. Like I don't think we're just suddenly going to win the Champions League when we become good. Like City also took so long. Like you be good, you keep getting experience, and the squad is pretty inexperienced. And I don't know if you know how bad down we were, how down bad we were that we didn't have Champions League for years. Like we were doing so bad, and now he's brought us to be consistently at the top four. We all know how hard it is to be consistent in top four. You guys more than others. That it is not easy, and that's the goal. That's what I was saying last season. We reached quarterfinals of Champions League. Hopefully, the boys who some of them had never played Champions League. I think yeah, a lot of them had never played Champions League, so it was really good experience. Hopefully this time, I mean, ideally we'd reach semis or finals or win it, but it's I don't see it. I have zero hope that we're winning it or coming close to winning it. But yeah, the idea was that we'll slowly get there and win. I know it's not like a oh you get two players and you start winning the Champions League. It's not that easy. It requires a bit of mentality. We have had issues with mentality in the past. Before you had mentioned about like 0-0 at Etihad. We had an issue. That was our problem. That was our bad that we didn't go there to win it. Rodri was right, but I hated him for saying that. But like now we're not that. If you believe that now we don't have the mentality, you're wrong. But yeah, I think that's it's been a long video, and maybe if we can conclude by would you rather be a United fan right now or an Arsenal fan right now?
yeah, and I think there's only one answer to that. So we'll let the comments decide. We'll let the comments
Yeah,
decide.
yeah. And we say we have a lot of ifs and all, but next year when we win something, there's no if.
If
When we win, we'll refer back to this video and you'll apologize in the comments. But yeah,
actually, yeah, when because Netflix goes on forever and ever. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, you're right. It's
Honestly,
not.
shout
It's
out
never
to
ending,
Evra.
right? It's next season, next season, next season. So
Shout out to Evra.
yeah.
I really like the example, honestly. But yeah, great chatting, and hopefully we'll do more of these soon.
Yeah. No.
All right, see
Hang
you guys.
tight. All right. See you.